we will continue to advocate for all of our relatives in that way. As a Navajo Nation, it's our duty and our responsibility to take care of our children and our relatives, and so we'll look at innovative solutions on, as a nation, getting those updates. So not just bearing that on the families to advocate for themselves, but with the full might of the nation to get updates and what they're doing and what are other areas that we need to do working together to help solve all of these cases. Because I strongly believe that someone does know, someone saw something, someone heard something, and to give them that strength to come forward, because as family members, that's only the first part of the healing process, but that your brother's life mattered and that he's missed, and what that does to a home, and now knowing how people numb their trauma and their pain, and that's where we see the alcohol and the drug abuse and the violence. And so I want to just take a time to say we made these shirts for Navajo Nation when we were walking for the missing and murdered Indigenous women, and we do recognize our men folk who are missing, our brothers, our uncles, our grandfathers, and so now it's missing and murdered and their relatives. And last December, I had to travel to Washington, D.C. to tell all of your relatives' stories. I know I reached out and we talked about Ariel, and I'm blessed that the family has entrusted us with her story so that we could continue to advocate. So what we're doing is not only raising awareness, but telling our federal partners, we shouldn't have to prove to you that something is happening here in our lands. We shouldn't have to be proving that these individuals are missing, or that their death is suspicious, or that we may or may have a series of murders in our community, and what does that look like. And so I want to then just do another check that we're all okay. It's a very, I think in terms of knowing the family stories and getting to know more about your relatives in a more personal way, that is also helping us figure out what are the solutions, because that's what's happening in my mind, where I want you to know that this is just the beginning of something more forceful and with more might, as I may just be one delegate, but I have all of you here that are going to be moving so that that you have your rights, and that you find at least a space to begin that healing journey. So Misty, if you can come back up and help me with the next family. I know that we've talked a little bit about Ashton Mike, and I always say her abduction and murder changed to the pit of my soul on what are the priorities of the nation. And so we recognize and honor her. That's why I wear this yellow scarf every day. Sometimes it gets tattered, but if you remembered, they had said at one point her favorite color was yellow, and then it was blue, and then it was wear purple. And I thought to myself, being a mother, that's just like that could be any one of my daughters, where every day or every month or every year, their likes changed, and as they grew as a person. And I thought to myself, she never would have that opportunity to play her instrument or color or sing or give a hug to the family. And in that time of desperation, I just thought of my grandma and the strength that my grandma provided for me and my family. And so we wear this scarf in honor of Ashton and of all the relatives that, especially the children that we've lost. And so when we advocate, we're saying that not only do we recognize the loss in the community, but the strength that we all have here. And so at times it's hard to see where that strength is going to come from, but that's why we gather together. And so I want to thank, because that the drinks, the hot drinks and the food, that came out of a place of love, and that came out of a place for families to heal and to grieve, and to know that, say your relative's name every day, if you need to, every minute, if you need to, every breath, because the pain is real, the pain lingers, and our children are trying to figure out how to deal in this world. So Miski's kind of my rock. I feel like I lean on her more than she knows, and so I just appreciate everything that she does, and I just hope one day I aspire to be what Miski has been to all of you as family members. So thank you for entrusting us, and to Jolene Holgate. She's not only my my legislative staffer, she's my little sister, and what I tell colleagues, leadership, is with the amount of violence in our communities, that means it's affecting our tribal employees, our children, and so we all have to be kind, and we all have to not try to inflict violence by belittling or blaming the family. So thank you for entrusting me with that, and thank you, Jolene, for coordinating all of this. I could have not done any of the vast majority of work that I'm able to do without staff and without dedicated folks on the ground. And so you may see me in the paper or in a photo, but it's taken a lot of hours of working with families and to figure out what to do next. So it's really all in the honor of our relatives that are missing and have been murdered.
Thank you, Council Delegate Amber Crotty. I'm going to go ahead and have an open mic now. Is there any other families that like to come up and talk about your story? You're more than welcome to come up and tell the story. Okay. Thank you guys all for bringing your banners. This is wonderful, especially to blow up the picture and show everybody who you're talking about.
Hello, my name is Pauline Curley, and my husband was the late Sergeant Darrell Curley. He was murdered June 26, 2011, while he was working. Trying to be strong. He went to work and never came home. And we had plans. We had just raised our last daughter, who was going away for college, and it was just going to be my husband and I. And he was taken, and our lives has changed literally overnight. And I totally agree with all your pain. I know the pain that you're all going through. And I'm so grateful and thankful for all the individuals who have organized this gathering tonight, because I think this is what we need to share our stories, to heal. I know that I was told that you will never get over your pain. It's something that you will have to learn to live with. You need to start a new life with this pain that you have. And it's been 8 years, and I've tried so hard to live with this pain, and there's days where it's unbearable. But I know that if you take it 1 minute at a time, 1 hour at a time, 1 day at a time, you can make it. And I just wanted to share my story that my husband was murdered, and he was murdered by a Dene man from Kaibito, Arizona, and he was convicted. We went through trial, and we had to endure all of that, but he's in prison, and my fears are always there of what if he gets out, or just will he ever get out? But that is my story, and that even through the police department, when this happened, after my husband's funeral, everybody left. There was nobody. Even the police departments within our own nation didn't have a group, didn't have nothing. So we had to learn to survive, and I really understand the individual who said that they have to go outside. And that's what I had to do with my children, to go outside to seek healing and recovering. And to this day, that's where my healing is at. And I'm so grateful that it could be here within our own Diné people. And I support you and I encourage you, and let me know whenever you have events. I'm here with my family. Thank you.
Okay, is there anybody else that would like to come up and share your story? No? Okay. Last call? Okay, here we go. We have Daryl that wants to come up and talk. Daryl's a brother I met 2017 when we all gathered for Ariel Bigay's march from the Bashas parking lot to the Navajo Nation president's office. He was among several of us that walked that day for Ariel, and that's the day that I met Val and her family, and I'm very blessed to have met them all.
Good evening, everyone. I'm not one of those that are kind of timid, but I think first of all, I'll recognize all the children that are here. A lot of people, I do a lot of things like this and Red Nations and American Indian movement. And a lot of people ask me, "You brought your little baby?" And I said, "Yeah, because you know what? She needs to be aware. All the children out here need to be aware of what we're trying to stand for, and uniting with one another as voices. As we all grow older, we don't want to be left behind, or our children to be left behind. The reason we're here is to fight for them, fight for each other, one another. I'm not trying to bring up any kind of activists or nothing like that. What I'm trying to do is try to make awareness of who we are, the strength that we are, in the unity. My baby was asking me, Twyla, can you stand up, babe? This is my baby right here. She's 11 years old. She's been to a lot of these rallies, along with the rallies that we have with the Red Nation, American Indian Movement, and a few others. And we have Ariel's picture in our home, right there with all of our stuff. And she asked me several times, and I told her, I want you to be aware of what's really happening out there. I want you to be a voice. I want you to be able to stand for those that can't stand for themselves, protect for those that are here. And in all the sense of unity that we're here today. I came with many different things, but I have a very unique story. I call him my little brother. He was my best friend. He was viciously murdered. He was taken, And what we're talking about, all the things that are going to happen and the laws that we need to change and things that we need to make straight, because there's a possibility that his murderer may get away and we never really serve a full length of justice that has taken from us. And there are days when I sit and I ponder, and I remember things that we said, things that we laughed, things that we think. And as my children were there, this individual, my brother Jack. My brother Jack was there when my children were born. He was there, we'd laugh and we joke. My second child was born and he was there along with me. And my third. And when all things came down and everything was gone and I lost my only son, he came to comfort me in the different ways that he could, and ways that he did. And we sat and we talked and we laughed and we joked. And we did many things. It was for 20-some years. 20-some years we built a bond of brothership with one another. And the coming together for all of us here, that we all got to remember that our pain and our sorrow, we all have to express ourselves and not hold it, despite of all the different things or the taboos that people are saying, that don't talk about it, don't do this or that. Time will heal all wounds. No, time does not heal all wounds. We just learn to accept it and to live with it. And the more we carry it, the more we carry this burden, the more we carry this grief, the more it's going to bring us down in ages, and the more we're going to carry this resentment and question of all our hurt and all our pain that we have within ourselves. And to all those that we have lost, to make awareness of who we are and where we're coming from. You know, we talked about a parade and all gathering together and showing that, you know, we have to do something like this in order for those of us, for the laws to be changed, for us to stand for one another. Otherwise, we're just going to be pushed aside as another drunken native, another drug addicted. They were just a native, they were just homeless. Whatever the situation or the case may be. And we'll just be pushed aside as we have been for generations after generations after generations. It's finally a time that we have gathered here as a small group, but in unity we're strength. We're strong in our strength. And we all got to march and protest and stand with one another and make a statement and let everyone know that we're not going to allow these things happen unjust to our family members. They've taken from us, they've taken something that's very precious and left us with memories. You know, and our future is not for us to foretell. You know, but this healing process is. You know, and I bring my little girl here because I want her to know what's happening out here in this world. I want her to be aware. I don't want her to be tabooed. I would keep her hidden and not aware of what's really going on out here, how our grief is. I want her to speak and to understand that we're all trying in one way or another, in essence, to make a difference. And that's our purpose. We all can't just zip our lips and hide, close the doors when someone's screaming for help. I've never been one of those. I hear shouts and screams. I open my door and run out. I don't close the curtains or the drapes and lock the doors. I go and investigate and see what happened out there. We have to. We all have to. We all have to speak up. We all have to stand for one another. We have to make a point to ourselves for our future. If there's going to be a better tomorrow, then we have to make it. We have to make it today as adults, the net people, and put aside all the taboos, and grab our grief and our sorrow, and grab it and hold it with our strength and make a difference for one another. And that's our purpose. That's what we're all supposed to be about. If we're going to walk in beauty, walk with you. And if we can't do that, and then, you know, there's something definitely wrong with all of us. But those of us that are here tonight, we're all standing united. We're all making a difference here. I'm so proud to be amongst you all. I'm so proud that we're all trying to make a change. I lost a very good friend. I lost a very good little brother. And he was murdered and taken. And you know, we all, those of us that are here, we all know that grief, we all know that sorrow. We're all sitting, we all wonder, we laugh. We laugh at the good things. And that's all we have left, and we try to make it stronger for those that commit these crimes, that they don't go unpunished. Because the law is going to allow it, and we can't allow the law to let that happen. We can't let that happen. We can't let all these murderers and all these other people walk scot-free and get away with a lot of things that they've gotten away with. They've taken something from us. We have to stand. And I'm so proud that all of you are here tonight to be along with us. I have a very good friend that I've known for years and years. Carolyn, can you come up? Can you come up? Can you come up? This is my friend's wife. My little brother's wife. I hate to see this pain. But she's here for healing. I'm so proud that she's a part of this. I'm so proud that she knows she doesn't have to grieve alone. That we're all together and we're all united one way or another. We carry a very, very precious memory.
And all of us that are here, we all understand that feeling of sorrow and hurt and loss. But we also know we're not alone no more. And this is what we're all about. This is our purpose tonight. And may this never end. And may we all get to know one another by first name basis. And this I thank you all. Aho, kamusta.
Yeah, thank you for those beautiful words. And so we did start beginning to light the candles, and for different people it means different things, but for us the fireplace is the home, the keeper of the home, the place that gives you warmth, your protector, something that you can always go to for warmth, to provide shelter, to provide food. And for many of us, for the missing, lighting the way for our loved ones to come back home, to keep that hope, to keep that perseverance, to know that it symbolizes so much more. And for me, coming together and going through and being vulnerable enough to shed tears and know that that I will be going to this fire and to our fireplace, to continue to ask it to guide me in my journey and in our leadership and to protect our families. And so if I could ask if is there anyone else who wants to share words? We don't have a time limit. This is an event for you, but we also want to respect your privacy and your own way of healing. So I want to encourage just a few words, and I'll stand here with you.
Good evening. Sina Janine Shlaki Ani Bushichin, Twitchini Dashina Lahanavani Dashiche. I'm from Indian Wells, Arizona. I thought I was coming here to support my good friend, Delegate Crotty. And it just hit me that I forgot her 2 years ago. I lost a niece, big sister to my 2 girls who helped raise my sister. I lost her to senseless violence. She was shot by her boyfriend in front of her kid. And I felt so bad because I forgot her. A few days ago was her birthday. She would have been 33. And I had to keep the light burning, to keep the fire burning for her, for my kids. And I just felt, I don't know, I just felt really awful. And when you're all talking about how you'll never forget your loved one, that you call their name every day, and me thinking, how could I have forgotten her? But I think she's still there. And I'm glad to be here. All day I resisted coming here. It seemed like I had an excuse, not leaving soon enough, not leaving quite soon enough to get here, thinking I'm supporting my good friend. But there's a reason why I had to be here. And I'm glad to be amongst you all, and I definitely am still in my healing grievance process, just because I know that there's violence out there that sometimes I don't know how to help people. And just last night, something happened in our community. 2 brothers, one killed another brother, and I just don't know how to help people anymore. I work with a lot of young kids, but I think the voices to the young kids, I think, is helping, showing them that love, that love is there from communities, from adults, from mothers, from fathers, from grandparents. So I'm going to keep the light burning for Michelle. Her name is Michelle. So thank you for being here and for allowing me to talk about her.
So just encourage any of the other family. We'll go slow, but we're gonna we do want to end our gathering here, of course, with prayer as we all move forward. And so as families, and if you think about, it's not forgetting, but it's just trying to deal with the pain and the overwhelming pain and what sometimes we have to do just to make it through another day, especially when that individual was so strong and helped raise our children, and there you also then think about your own vulnerability and how we could make our community safe. And so for every unsolved murder, we know that there's an individual out there with the ability to hurt someone in a very violent way. So Shade, Miss Ramona, if you can come and help us transition from this time of gathering into a time of safe traveling back home. I'll give you the mic and you do what you feel.
Yeah, Shadeja. You don't mind to take a moment of silence? Shtati and God, we are grateful for today. We are grateful for the breath that we breathe. We are grateful for the elements that you allow us to experience every day. This evening, as we gather, we know that you understand the pains and the tragedies, as well as the joys and the hopes that we each have for our family members. We are grateful that although we may forget, that we have the ability to remember. We are grateful that although we do remember every day, that we do never forget. These cries that you hear, the tears that you see, you understand that, my Lord. You understand that the prayers that they call out to you every day in their own way, we are grateful. As we go and gather today and make our way home, our paths, I ask that they be safe, that we leave here with a sense of hope and a big breath of fresh air. I ask that as we travel, that we're able to find some level of peace in the prayers that we have, some level of understanding, and perhaps some level of forgiveness, because we are all children of God. We are all capable of making mistakes. And those that perpetrate violent crimes and crimes every day, those that trespass against us, we pray for them as well. For we understand that we all come from different paths, and that together, with this light that we have in front of us as a resemblance to the people that we remember, the people that we love, help us to understand that perhaps we can hear their whisper, that we can still see them, and that every now and then they make themselves known, to help us understand that and to embrace that. Heavenly Father, we give praise to you that we're able to come together and to continue to move forward with a sense of great hope, great love, great forgiveness. To our children, help them to understand a love of a parent, a love of a family member, of a and the tribal leaders, help them hear us for the voices that keep coming every single day. With that, Lord, allow us the peace, embrace the peace, and safe travels home. Allow us to lean on one another. And we are thankful and grateful for the breath that you've given to us today as we remember the people that have gone before us, and that the hope that we will soon meet with them again as promised. In your Heavenly Father's name I pray. Amen.
Amen.
Okay. Thank you, Sister Ramona, for doing the closing prayer. I just want to thank again everybody for being here and sharing your stories, because I know how difficult it was. And it's hard to talk about these things without shedding a tear. But tonight I really want to thank our sister, Council Delegate Amber Crotty, and Jolene Holgate for getting this all together. Without them not being our collaboratives, this day wouldn't have came. We are combined and doing a group called the Missing and Murdered and Dene Relatives. We're working very hard. There's a group of us, about 20 plus. We're working very hard to get things right, and for our families, our relatives out there that are hurting. We're doing this, some of us are doing this as volunteers. For the Navajo Nation Missing Persons, there are 6 of us, and we do everything out of pocket, and we do this out of our own hearts, and we volunteer our time to search. And we do have a new member. She's here. I'm very glad she was here today to join me, and her name is Geraldine. She's right here next to me. So she's a new member, and hopefully soon I can talk to her and we can get her started on helping us, because we do need a lot of help trying to help our relatives to be found. We do a lot of our own searches. We try our best to get all of our Dene relatives into the database that is currently available. And for our murder victims, just like my sister Susie here was saying, Vanessa, she was saying that she creates the justice flyers. So you can go ahead and try and get a hold of her right here, since she's right here. It's really hard to get a hold of her through social media. But she will help you try to get a flyer going, and also myself. Again, I have a couple of business cards, and I want to thank everybody that's here, the families especially, because we wouldn't, moving our strides moving forward right now, it wouldn't happen if it wasn't for you, for voicing your stories, for being there and being these strong advocates. We're only here just to support you, but you are the voice. You're the voice of change. You're the voice for your family members. And you hear a lot of people saying, it's time for us to speak up. We're speaking. We've been speaking. It's just people who wasn't listening, but they're listening now. So I encourage everybody here tonight, let you know that you are advocates. Do not stop. There's things that are going right now as we speak, and we wouldn't be able to do that if it wasn't for our leaders right here. So I want to thank the families for coming out here and sharing your stories, and I hope that it brought a little bit of peace to your heart tonight.
I think at the end, at council, we usually have awareness walks, and Miski has been there helping, and we wanted to honor her tonight for her work that she's done on behalf of all the families. And so as a token of our appreciation, Miski, come over here. And we just want to arm you with a beautiful blanket to just recognize your endless sacrifice and being a mother. I know what it takes to raise children, a home, and Miski has special children, and so she does this out of the love of her people, and she knew something was not right, and so I think it's more heartfelt for me to honor her with this blanket with all of you here, and the work that she's doing. And we want to continue to support not only you in your healing journey, but for all of the families that you have really been their voice, and we look to Miski as the expert to help us untangle this web of re-victimization, healing, and one day we have the communities that we want all of our children to live in. And so we just appreciate your sacrifice. It's a small token, but it's out of love, admiration, and strength, sister, because I know you do so much, and I just appreciate you. Well, so everybody come and give Miski a hug, and let's just hug it out. And as we end, so I just want to just.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Jolene. I know my name was mentioned a couple times, so I'm going to go ahead and put a face to the name. I work with an amazing group of strong individuals who all have their stories. I had started engaging in this work within the last 4 years with Council Delegate Amber Crotty. I was the former policy analyst for the Sexual Assault Prevention Subcommittee, and I was also the Senior Public Information Officer at the Office of the Speaker. And in doing this work, we became strong advocates for the families because their stories are very powerful to us and they move us. More recently, this past July, I lost my little sister. And Miski and Delegate Crotty helped me through it. I was texting them when I was walking out there looking for her. And we found her. Not how we hoped, but I just never thought in all the years that I would be on this side of it. It was painful. But the work doesn't stop, it keeps going. And I think every day to have the opportunity to work with these amazing individuals with our Missing and Murdered Relatives group. We are working for you and we will continue to work for you. And we care about your stories and we care about your loved ones because we know where you come from. We know how you feel. And I hope we can be a light to you in some way. And I just want to thank everyone for coming. Also to Shada, Ramona, for bringing the food, the drink, to warm our souls, to make us feel good tonight, to give us that comfort and welcome as we share these stories. I want to extend a huge thank you to Ramona. She's the executive director for the Navajo Epidemiology Center, and she is a powerful force in our group as well, so we truly appreciate her as well. So thank you all for coming, and please have a safe trip home.